Today we're talking Hyrox footwear and comparing 5 popular shoe choices and how each perform in the exercises that form the Hyrox race workout. Now, I've personally trained for Hyrox in all of these shoes and competed Hyrox races in a number of them. This video is split into a brief overview of the shoes before comparing how each performs in each of the Hyrox exercise stations. Starting with the Puma Deviate Nitro 2, of all the shoes that we're looking at today, this in my experience has been the shoe that behaves and feels most like a conventional trainer. It's versatile, very stable in the forefoot and heel, and whilst it does contain a carbon composite plate, it isn't overly rigid. It has some of the best grip on the sole of all the shoes we're looking at today. Next up, the Vivobarefoot Primer Slide 3. In an ideal world, we'd all be wearing barefoot shoes, and I explain why in the video up here and at the end of this one. But the majority of us have grown up wearing conventional shoes, which means suddenly switching to a barefoot shoe which has minimum cushioning is going to be a real shock to our bodies and joints. This is my preferred shoe for sled training, as you've got great flexibility in the forefoot to get up and onto your toes in the sled push. It's important, if using this shoe, that you've given yourself plenty of time and practice in this shoe ahead of your Hyrox race to ensure you're comfortable running in a barefoot shoe for 8 kilometers plus. Onto the Nike Vaporfly. This is one of the most popular shoes for half and marathon running, and increasingly being used for 10k right down to 5k park runs. It is incredibly light, has a full carbon plate running through the shoe, which makes it rigid. It has a reasonable amount of grip in the forefoot area for the sledge work. Where this shoe wouldn't work for some athletes is in the rear of the shoe, which contains Nike's ZoomX foam. This foam is great for improving return on energy with each foot strike when running. However, under exercises such as the sandbag lunges or farmer's carry, that extra compression in the heel of the shoe can lead to some instability, particularly for heel strikers or if you're prone to ankle rolling. The pointed rear of the first and second editions of the shoe also doesn't sit particularly well in the Row Erg foot grips. The Nike Tempo Next Percent is the younger and cheaper sibling of the Vaporfly shoe. What makes this shoe different is instead of ZoomX foam, it has Nike's React foam in the heel, which makes for a more stable rear of the shoe with less compression in lunges and other exercises. It also contains 2 air pods in the front of the shoe that also feature in Nike's most premium long distance running shoe, the Nike Alphafly. Lastly, the Metcons. If you come from a CrossFit or functional fitness background, you may own a pair. The biggest issue with this shoe is while they're great and stable for lifting exercises, they really aren't designed for long runs. With 8k plus of running in the Hyrox race, they really aren't a suitable shoe for racing. If they are the only workout shoe you own and buying a new pair ahead of race isn't an option, it's worth seeing if you can borrow something more suitable from a friend ahead of your race. Now on to comparing the performance of each of these shoes in the specific exercises that comprise the Hyrox race workout. The 8 kilometers of running comprise over 50% of the race, and here the Puma Deviate Nitro scores a respectable 3.5 out of 5. It's steady underfoot, and for those transitioning to carbon plate shoes, it's a great introductory model. Next up is the Vaporfly, which scores a 4.5 out of 5. From a purely running perspective, it's the fastest shoe. The Primer Slide 3 scores 2. I really wanted to score this shoe higher, but this video is designed to be as helpful as possible to as wide a Hyrox athlete audience as possible. And given most of us have grown up in cushioned shoes, the score 2 assumes this would be your first experience of wearing a barefoot shoe in competition. The Tempo scores 4. It has a more aggressive, propulsive forward feeling generated from that more rigid carbon plate than the Nitro Deviate 2. On the flip side, it does have a stack height of 46mm versus 39 in the Deviate Nitro, which can make it a less stable shoe, particularly in Hyrox race venues with a lot of corners to navigate on the 1k run splits. The Metcon scores 0 out of 5 due to the hard plastic hyperlift insert in the heel, which is great for lifting but hinders the shoe when running. For the sled, push and pull, the Primer Slide 3 and Puma Deviate Nitro are 2 standout shoes, with both scoring 4 out of 5. The Puma grip is second to none, and the flexibility and the end-to-end rubber in the barefoot shoe gives you great leverage and firm footing in both exercises. Coming in third is the Tempo Next Percent with 3.5. It has a good solid depth of rubber grip in the forefoot and heel, making it a great alternative. In fourth is the Vaporfly, which performs a little stronger in the sledge pull than push, mainly due to the more generous forefoot grip versus the rear of the shoe. Trailing behind in fifth is the Metcon. The sole tread grooves don't give the same level of traction as the other shoes we're looking at today. The standout shoe for burpee broad jumps is the Puma Deviate Nitro 2. Scoring 4 out of 5, it gives you a noticeably propulsive forward motion through each jump, which is more pronounced in this exercise than when running on the treadmill. Both the Nike Tempo and Vaporfly come in a close second with 3.5, where these carbon plates give you a little extra spring and bounce in your jumps. Onto the rowing machine, and the Metcon is the surprise winner. For comfort and stability, the high heel stack heights of the Vaporfly, Tempo and Nitro all make getting this shoe into the foot fittings and grip a bit of a task. The pointy heel in the Vaporfly in particular doesn't sit well in the bottoms of the shoe straps, so scores a 2.5. And the lack of cushioning around the Achilles in the Primus Lite makes for an uncomfortable rowing experience in these shoes. Into the kettlebell farmer's carry. On the grounds of stability, the Nitro 2 and Primus Lite 3 are the standout shoes, both scoring 4 out of 5. At the other end of the scoring is the Vaporfly with 3, with that soft ZoomX foam in the heel, making this shoe less stable. Similarly, on the sandbag lunges, that same heel foam has the potential to lead to increased chance of ankle rolling during this exercise, meaning it scores a 3. At the other end of the spectrum, the Primus Lite 3 is the standout shoe for providing maximum floor stability and feedback, with the Nitro 2 coming in closely behind. With wall balls, it's a similar story, with both the Nitro and the Primus Lite providing the most stable base to be throwing the ball from. In second place is the Tempos, which just edge ahead of the Vaporflies due to that greater stability it gives you with the React foam in the heel of the shoe. When it came to the ski erg, I personally didn't notice a huge difference between the shoes, with the exception of those with the larger stack height, giving me a slightly higher starting standing position for each pull of the ski erg, which over consecutive reps starts to add up, which is why I've given 4 out of 5 to all the shoes in this category. Overall, in our opinion, the Puma Deviate Nitro 2 will be the best shoe for most people, with the Nike Zoom Tempo coming in close second. If you're comfortable with the high 46mm stack height, and for those looking to sidestep the super shoes in place of building longer term foot strength, then the Primus Lite 3 shoe is likely the best choice of shoe for you, but remember to allow plenty of time to transition to barefoot shoe running. Below in the video description are links to the best online deals I found for all the shoes covered in this video. For more training tips ahead of your next Hyrox race, do check out the videos here. And for individual in-depth reviews of each of the shoes, check out the playlist here. Happy Hyrox training and see you in the next one.